This is starting outside of Duckfields, or the location of Duckfields Yard on Berner Street, on Henriques Street, looking north. And very quickly, so that's out, literally outside of Duckfields Yard, there would have been number 36, where Mrs. Mortimer allegedly was stood in the doorway for about half an hour. Didn't see anybody pass down the road, which we know is perhaps not necessarily true, apart from she saw somebody called Goldstein, the guy who had the shiny black bag, who had been in Spectacle Alley. And then the next thing she knew, she'd got inside and heard that the pony and cart coming down the road. So we walked around the corner from Berner Street onto Fairclough Street. This is heading west. So for the purpose of this video, I've run the time code at the bottom so you can keep track of timings. I started 20 seconds in, because that's when I began walking away from Berner Street. We're assuming here that the attacker of Liz Stride and the attacker of Catherine Eddowes are one and the same person, which, although it's not definite, I think it's a reasonable assumption. So for the purposes of the video, this is what we're going to go with. So anyone getting away from Berner's Yard would have had a couple of possible routes. I've taken this one. We could have walked back up Berner Street. That's where the pony and cart came down. The club was also next door, so maybe some people suggested that they went through the club. That pathway down there, you can get through to places. The next road along, which is parallel, is called Gower's Walk, which runs up. And there are actually lots of little alleyways running between these roads. This is Back Church Lane, and you could get through to Berner Street just beyond this building. I think I turned round, and you can see where the board school is and things. This road as well, Back Church Lane. There was a witness. I think they went to a newspaper office. It appeared in a newspaper where some witness had come in and said there's been a murder in Back Church Lane. It's probably a case of confusion, because we don't think there was a murder in Back Church Lane, but whether it's got confused between some of the various crimes around here, the Liz Stride, the Pinchin Street. It's also, I can't remember what date that was on, and I'll be honest, I can't bother to look it up now. But this is Back Church Lane, and we're coming up to Commercial Road East, which runs in an east-west direction. That road you can see sort of opposite that small road between the buildings is Mulberry Street. And about 100 yards down there, you would come to the location of where Sion Square was, which was a possible home for Aaron Kosminski at one point. One of his relatives lived there. So now on part of Commercial Road East, and just to confuse matters, we're heading sort of west. A lot of this area is being in the process of being rebuilt. The City of London is kind of spreading out. There's quite a few residences and things being built, blocks of flats, especially because this is so close to the city, meaning the banking area. When people talk about the City of London, we're really talking here about the financial district, and a lot of people would be looking to get residences very close to their place of work, and so it's becoming quite an expensive area. This is Gower's Walk, the other end of Gower's Walk that I mentioned before. It's another one of these streets that runs parallel. So the road starts to just bend round a little. It's almost going northwesty now, and you can start to see the cranes and things in the distance. The Gherkin will pop up soon over to the right. This road just down there, just quickly looked at, was called Church Lane. It's another church one. It's now called Whitechapel Lane, I think, and that runs down to Whitechapel Road, and by the side of St Mary, or the site of St Mary's, the chapel, which is now which was destroyed or heavily damaged during the war, now destroyed. It's where the park was on one of the early videos, 2 or 3 videos back. That's where that road comes out. So when I went down Spectacle Alley, so there again is another possible route. And in fact, there was an alleged sighting of somebody sitting on a step in Church Lane wiping their knife. So that's where that particular road and pathway was. So you can really see now all these buildings and the difference in the in the type and the quality of the building, if you like. So a lot of these older brick structures and dwellings have now been broken down. On the other side of where this building work's going on, whether it's called Aldgate 1 or not sure what it is, would have been Leman Street. Leman Street would run parallel with Gower Walk and Back Church Lane when it came up, but there was a set of railway tracks between them. You could get between them, but Leman Street was where the police station was. So this has taken, what, 5 minutes, or about getting up for 6 minutes, to reach Whitechapel Road. I'm not going crazy pace here. I'm walking a reasonable pace. Certainly not anything that would attract attention if I was fleeing a crime scene. So there's Whitechapel Road there. The sort of yellowy arch structure is the Whitechapel Gallery we were at before, or looking up at before. And now we're starting to head west again, going into the city. We're heading towards St Botolph's, where in all likelihood Catherine Eddowes and her attacker would have met each other. St Botolph's, also known colloquially as the prostitutes' church. And to the right is Commercial Street, running up. To the right and to the left is Leman Street. So the two roads actually would run together. So the police station would have been down there. There's the Gherkin just in the distance. And there's Commercial Street, so we could walk another 3-4 minutes up the road to the right, and we'd be at places like Fashion Street and Thrall Street and Dorset Street. So down there is Commercial Street. The only reason I'm crossing the road here is I was trying to maintain the pace, so rather than standing around, there was a possibility to cross the road, so I wanted to keep the movement going, so that's the only reason I crossed here. So just gone by Aldgate East tube station, and you start to see again this idea of little alleyways and these little nooks that you could go down if you knew they were there. They would not have been lit very well at night. This is Old Castle Street. Still walking west. That building, sort of blue and grey with lots of glass windows in just to the right of the centre of shop. He's on the corner of the other side of that is basically Mitre Square. Here where this graffitied kind of food van is, this is Gulston Street, bottom end of it. That yellowy brick building contains a car park. So down there is where the Wentworth model dwellings were, the Gulston Street graffito, sorry. And we've been down that street, so on other videos if you're not quite sure where that is. And here if we turned right we would then get to Middlesex Street. Further up there. If we turn left, that's the Minories, which for a long time I assumed was called Minories. And then talking to a friend who actually works down there, I was reliably informed it was the Minories. So this is Aldgate House. To the left, so should just say on this side, 100% sure on the location, maybe about where this blue sign was. Catherine Eddowes was taken drunk on the evening before her death. So she's 33. So it was outside of 29, where I think the police report says she was making noises like a fire engine. So she was obviously drunk. Taken to Bishopsgate police station. So might have actually been escorted this way, So they took them down Middlesex Street, or possibly down Duke Street. We come up. But here on the left, a little sign here, it says police operate in this area. To the left is an area which was called Butcher's Row, and this was a row of butcher shops, as the name suggests. But it's very interesting because after the Kelly murder, there seemed to be some surveillance of a suspect who lived in Butcher's Row, and unfortunately, not all of the writing from that era has survived. So we're not quite clear who it was, but Robert Cigar, who wrote, here's St. Botolph's prostitute church appearing. It's not clear exactly who that person was, but we know that they were watched probably from across this side of the road in one of the buildings on this side. So people have tried to connect people like Jacob Levy and Chaim Hyams. So when people talk about the Jewish butcher theory, this is the area that was watched, Butcher's Row, on Aldgate on the other side of the road. Don't quite know what this wooden thing is. Some art project. Looks quite nice. And here we are again. This is 11 minutes in, and this building here with the white side and the bricks there is built on the side of Mitre Square. Mitre Square is behind it. So here's Duke Street. Eddowes and her assailant very probably walked up here. The Imperial Club would have been where Lavender and Harris and Levy, the witnesses, would have just been down here on the right, where this grey building with all the windows is. It would have been under that. And you can just see the blue boardings now that surround Mitre Square. And this is the passage where Eddowes was seen. And there is Mitre Square.